In this video, I'll be explaining why vendors on Amazon should not be investing in Amazon promotions. For those of you who are new here, my name is Benjamin Bolshinsky. I used to work at Amazon in the vendor management team for almost 3 years, and now I run a company called Vendor Launch, where we work exclusively with Amazon vendors to increase their purchase orders. And so, without further ado, if you're wondering whether you should invest in Amazon promotions, you're not alone. It's one of the most common questions we get. Particularly at the time of recording this video, July, Amazon Prime Day just finished. And many vendors have approached us a bit dissatisfied with sales results. They gave promotional funding for this Prime Day, but the discount was never really passed on to the customer, and sales just weren't as high as they would have hoped. And so if you're also thinking that you're a vendor and you're also kind of dissatisfied with your promotional performance, you're not alone. It's one of the most common issues we're currently getting from prospective vendors. So in this video, I kind of break down why this is and what you should do moving forward. Especially at the end, well, I'll share a tip that I received when I worked at Amazon, which I have never heard anyone talk about just yet, and it helps with this piece on promotions. And so let's just talk through an example. So say you gave Amazon $3 of unit funding for this Prime Day, but you saw the product discount on the product page was only $2. So say, for example, you gave $3 funding, but instead of selling it RRP of 20 for a particular product, Amazon discounted it to 18. But that's kind of like a bit dissatisfying, because you would expect that if you're giving Amazon $3 of unit funding, they should discount the product by $3, right? Otherwise, where is that other dollar going, right? You're not giving Amazon funding to make them wealthier, right? They're already pretty wealthy as a company. You're giving funding to pass it on to your customer, to make sure that your customer is satisfied and that you reach new customers through these promotions. But if they're only discounting it by $2, as this example suggests, instead of $3, then you might be wondering, where is that dollar going? So this is the problem. This is the problem with promotional funding. And the problem is, as such, you just don't know where the funding goes. You don't know where these $3 are going that you gave Amazon. You just don't know where it goes. And so to answer this question and to understand where it goes, you first have to understand how your vendor manager thinks. So your vendor manager has KPIs. And the first thing you have to understand is that on Amazon, actions follow incentives. And this can be probably applied to general discussions around general retailers or just general. It's a general idea. But in this video, I'm just exclusively focused on Amazon, on Vendor Central, on Amazon Retail. And on Amazon Retail, in the Vendor kind of Central universe, actions follow incentives. If you understand your vendor manager's incentives, then you can predict what actions they will take. And so to understand your vendor manager's incentives, each vendor manager has KPIs. This is what they are assessed on. This is based on how well they perform in their role as a vendor manager. It's what impacts promotions. It's what impacts their salary. It's their career kind of objectives at Amazon. And these two KPIs, there's two really important ones. Sales, so like a revenue top line sales figure, customer sales, and profitability. On Amazon, that's commonly referred to as net PPM, net pure product margin. Sales and profitability. And so if you understand what these two KPIs mean, and that each of your vendor managers' actions and how they tie to these KPIs, you can predict what actions your VM will take, and specifically what actions they'll take regarding promotions. So firstly, net ppm is the first incentive you have to understand. What is net ppm? Net ppm is the main profitability metric for Amazon vendor managers. Right? It's how they calculate the profit of any given vendor account, and it is calculated as the selling price on Amazon, the site price, less Amazon's cost price. So this is what they're buying the product from you at, your invoice price. Add any trading terms, the cost of doing business with Amazon as a vendor, and add any promotional funding. So promotional funding is the variable here, because for the most part, selling price, cost price, and your trading terms are more or less fixed throughout the year. Of course, you increase it, you negotiate it, but when it comes to promotional events, when it comes to deal events, the main lever in play is this piece here, which is promotional funding. And so promotional funding directly contributes to your net pure product margin, net PPM. So any given deal event, Prime Day, Black Friday, your vendor manager has two options with the promotional funding that you provide them. They can either apply that promotional funding towards product discounts, i.e. what your customer gets, the discount, or they can take that promotional funding and they can keep it for their own P&L, their own net PPM. Right? And so what we want to avoid is option 2 at all costs. We don't want to make Amazon richer. They're the third or fourth largest company in the world. They don't need your unit funding. So you shouldn't be giving them your unit funding. Instead, you should be doing everything to maximize unit funding, promotional funding that goes towards your customer. Right? We want your customer to receive the benefit of this. And so all this to say, if your vendor account is growing above your vendor manager's sales targets, your vendor manager has less incentive to push deep discounts that eat into their margin. They will rather prioritize their own net PPM, right? If they've already achieved this KPI for your account, if it's growing above the category average in terms of sales, then there's no point growing it more than that. They're not compensated for more, right? Instead, they're going to focus on their profitability of the category, right? And this is where they will take that funding and they will bolster and improve their net PPM. So, to summarize, if your account is growing above your category sales target, if your vendor manager does not need to grow your sales anymore, you should take that funding and you shouldn't give it to them because they will use it to improve their net PPM. But we don't want that. We want to pass it on to the customer. And so what's the solution? Advertising. With advertising on Amazon, you have more control over where your marketing spend goes. Right? Because you have full control over which keywords, over which products you're bidding on, over which times you're advertising. It is a fully self-service marketing lever, right? And it helps drive more visibility for your retail products. Having said that, sometimes you do need to invest in promotions as well, new products, or in the case of you don't have enough, your sales aren't growing as high enough, as fast enough as the category. And in these cases, it can sometimes make sense to invest in promotions, which is exactly what we do at Vendor Launch. So at Vendor Launch, we handle all of this for you. We have a lot of data. We have data from your category. We have data from other vendors. We have data from my experience working at Amazon, some of which I'm sharing now. And so we'll create a tailored promotional plan for which Amazon promotions you should participate in, which products you should put forward for these promotions, and how much funding to provide, all so that you can maximize the growth, the profitable growth of your Amazon vendor channel. And all of this is done for you so that you don't have to lift a finger, so that you can focus on the more strategic decisions regarding your business. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions about any of this, please leave a comment and I'll respond directly to you. Otherwise, if you want to work with my team and I, please book a call using the link in the description. Otherwise, have a great day and we'll talk soon. Bye.